All right, welcome. Over the next few minutes, we are going to build ourselves a powerful mental toolkit, one that's designed to help you analyze situations, make way smarter choices, and really tackle any challenge that comes your way, big or small. I mean, just think about it. We make dozens and dozens of these little decisions every single day. Bus or car, chocolate or vanilla. Our brains have gotten so good at these that we barely even notice we're doing it. It's all on autopilot. But what happens when the choices get bigger, when the stakes get a whole lot higher? Things like, should we launch this new product? Or should I make a major career change? For those kinds of decisions, our usual mental shortcuts, they just don't cut it. We need better tools. Okay, so let's really dive in here. Before we can use any tool, we have to know what we're actually working on. And the first, most fundamental step is getting this, understanding the difference between solving a problem and making a decision. They sound kind of the same, but trust me, they're not. So here's the real key. It's all about your orientation in time. Problem solving is reactive. It's all about looking backward to fix something that went wrong, some deviation from how things should be. It's about getting back to normal. Decision making, though, that's proactive. That's about looking forward, choosing between a bunch of different paths to create a future that doesn't exist yet. All right, so we've got that difference down. Now let's start building the actual foundation of our toolkit. Because no matter what you're facing, whether it's a problem or a decision, there's a core process that can bring some serious clarity and structure to your thinking. What we've done is boil down a few different models into this one simple but, incredibly powerful 5-step framework. You should think of this as the Swiss Army knife in your new mental toolkit. It all starts with really identifying the issue, then digging deep for the real root cause, exploring your options, actually taking action, and then, and this is the part people always forget, reviewing the results to see what you can learn. And this quote, man, it just perfectly nails a huge part of step 2, digging for that root cause. Taiichi Ohno, he's the guy who came up with the 5 whys technique. The idea is you can't just stop at the surface. You have to be like a curious little kid and just keep asking why until you've stripped away all the symptoms and found the one thing at the bottom that's causing all the trouble. Okay, so we've got the process. Let's add another layer to this. That 5-step process gives you the what, but it doesn't say anything about the who. And that's only half the story, right? Who you decide to involve in the process is just as critical to whether you succeed or fail. And this is where a brilliant little tool called the Vroom-Yetton model comes into play. It's a fantastic guide because it gets that there is no single best way to make a call. It's such a crucial reminder that being a good leader isn't about having one style. It's about having the right style for the right moment. So what the model does is it lays out this whole spectrum. Think of it like a dial with 5 settings. It goes all the way from autocratic, where you make the call completely on your own, to the other end, group, where you're really just facilitating a full team consensus. And in the middle, you've got these consultative styles, where you ask for input before you make the final call. So the big question is, how do you actually pick the right style? Well, you do it by asking yourself a series of really sharp diagnostic questions like these. Like, is getting buy-in from the team absolutely critical for this to work? Or, hey, do I even have enough information to figure this out by myself? The key takeaway here is that you match your approach to the context instead of just defaulting to whatever feels most comfortable. Okay, let's take our thinking up another level. So we've got a process, and we know how to think about involving other people. But before you can even start to solve a problem, you have to truly get a feel for its nature. Is this thing simple and straightforward, or is it pure chaos? And for this, there's a fantastic tool called the Sinafin framework. And by the way, it's pronounced Cunnivan. It's called a sense-making device. And that's exactly what it does. It helps you diagnose the situation so you don't do something silly like, apply a simple checklist to a deeply complex problem, or get stuck analyzing a crisis that just needs you to act now. So here's how it breaks down. The framework basically asks you, what kind of world are you living in right now? Is the problem obvious, where there's a clear best practice? Or is it complicated, where you might need an expert, but there's still a right answer out there? Or maybe it's complex, where there are no right answers yet, and you have to probe and experiment. Or is it just chaotic, where your only job is to act immediately to create some stability? And that brings us to our final layer. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all, because we have to account for the most unpredictable, biased, and brilliant variable in any equation: the human brain. Let's start with the big one, the one you've probably heard of, groupthink. This is that dangerous place where everyone in a room seems to agree, where the desire to just get along is so strong that nobody dares raise a red flag, and nobody stops to ask if the whole group is about to confidently walk right off a cliff together. So you've really got to be on the lookout for these warning signs. Things like self-censorship, where people clearly have doubts, but they just keep them quiet. Or my favorite, the illusion of unanimity, where everybody's silence is just assumed to be agreement. Just recognizing these symptoms is the first step to breaking that spell. And you also have to watch out for these two polar opposites, these two extremes that are so easy to fall into. On one side, you've got analysis paralysis. That's when you overthink a problem so much you get completely frozen and never make a move. And on the other side, you've got extinction by instinct. That's making a careless, snap judgment based on a gut feeling without any real thought at all. The sweet spot, the goal, is right in the thoughtful middle. So let's put it all together. What you have now is a complete, multi-layered toolkit. You've got a foundational process that works for any situation. You have a model for picking your decision-making style. You have a framework for actually diagnosing the problem itself, and you have an awareness of the mental traps you need to avoid. You can literally bring structure and clarity to any challenge. And that's really the whole point, isn't it? The goal here isn't for you to just know about these models. It's to actually use them. So think about it for a second. What's one real problem or decision that you're facing right now? Which one of these tools are you going to pull out of the toolkit first?